Hello students, here are certain proverbs for your benefit. Proverbs are actually maxims and adages, even aphorisms we can say, which will teach you a great deal of things. Through proverbs, we learn about moral values and we learn even how to frame the sentences in the correct manner. The student learns about values as well as language mastery. Proverbs are actually adages or maxims as they are known. In our religious texts also there are proverbs. Francis Bacon, the great essayist, wrote several aphorisms which had a deep impact on people. The aim of proverbs is to teach a moral lesson. How do we learn? We learn basically through situational examples. Life is the best teacher, and proverbs teach us about life. There are many home truths which narrate a story. Several ethical norms can be explained through proverbs. For example, look into this proverb. Francis Bacon said, "Whosoever lives in solitude is either a beast or a god." Well said. A human being is a gregarious animal. We need company. We need affection. We need comfort. Those of us who live totally alone, like hermits perhaps, it's not possible that we attain anything anywhere. We need company. We need companionship. We need to talk to people. A human being is basically a social animal. Therefore, as you read this proverb, you will realize how true Francis Bacon was. It's not easy to live alone. Maybe a hermit can live alone, but not an ordinary human being. Francis Bacon very clearly put forward his ideas in a very succinct manner. Therefore, it's important that every proverb reaches us deeply and touches the chords of our heart. The best way to learn proverbs is through situational examples. Proverbs serve a meaningful purpose, a distinctive purpose, and they are based on truths of life. For example, again, to give another example, an empty purse frightens away friends. What does it mean? When one is in adversity, when one is hard up for money, one realizes that all the friends run away and with the very few who remain are the real friends. People like the sun, nobody likes the clouds. Therefore, it's a proverb which is small, ordinary, but it has extraordinary meaning. Also, another one, anger is the one thing made better by delay. How true? When we are angry, we speak vehemently. The words uttered cannot be taken back. Therefore, when we control our anger and speak after some time, obviously that is the best way. So, we keep on learning and we keep on moving ahead. Proverbs are just stories. They are actual stories. When we are very small, we are told stories. Our grandmother used to tell us stories. Grandmother tales are very famous. We learned some of the stories have religious connotations. Some stories are humorous. Some stories just drive home a point. And in this way, we go on and on about proverbs and their importance. Let us talk about tradition. Tradition is one of the most cherished and most dangerous possessions of the human race. Tradition is, no doubt, extremely important in society. There are many facets to tradition. We human beings follow tradition and follow rules because we live in a collective society. Yet it is important for us to remember that traditions can be disadvantageous. How can they be disadvantageous? They can be because if we stretch them too far, obviously the meaning will have negative connotations. Therefore, let us respect tradition, yet let us not be blind to it. People can get bigoted by tradition. Tradition can hamper a lifestyle, and also tradition can be wonderful. Therefore, students, it's up to you how you handle everything. We are winners when we are able to handle and gauge situations. Misfortune is a good teacher. Well, fortune and misfortune are two facets of the same coin. It is said that fortune favours the brave. That does not mean that we have to only depend on luck. Destiny is no doubt there, but well, hard work counts. Our own contribution counts. And fortune, it is said, sometimes smiles upon us, sometimes frowns upon us. It is also up to us to react properly. We have prosperity, we have adversity. We have to learn to cope with every situation. And that is why it is said, fortune favours the brave. The lion-hearted, the brave, they are the survivors, they are the winners, they are the go-getters, not people who lack confidence. Confidence is a must, and when we are confident, God is on our side. That is indeed very true. Many of us react to situations adversely. We get overexcited, we panic, and we ruin what is there before us. Well, it is well within our power to do the best, and when we are confident and optimistic, fortune will favour us. A rolling stone gathers no moss. The above mentioned proverb is an oft quoted one. It means that an unsteady person who is fickle-minded cannot really achieve a target. He cannot win. He cannot reach a goal because he simply does not have the discipline. Discipline and dedication are important for us to be steady. When we are consistent, when we are resolute, we can really work seriously and properly. Therefore, we have to remember at this juncture the famous story of the industrious ant and the fickle-minded grasshopper. The fickle-minded grasshopper could not achieve anything because he was too unsteady. But the industrious ant slowly climbed her way to success. Therefore, it's important to remember that discipline and dedication are the two important factors necessary for winning or for even reaching a goal. Therefore, when we want to pursue something, let us pursue it diligently and faithfully with complete devotion and commitment. Let us take work as worship, and definitely success will be the result. The pen is mightier than the sword. It is indeed true. Words are very powerful weapons, and through words we attain self-expression. Sometimes aggression helps, but not always. The sword cannot be used forever. The sword promotes hate, whereas the pen promotes harmony. Through rationality, through calmness of mind, through writing, we achieve a goal. Through deliberation, through rationality, we reach better goals. The sword, however, is considered significant by many people. Probably they lack the basic intelligence to realize that the pen is important. What the sword can do, the pen can even do better. Self-conquest is the greatest of victories. This is also very true when we human beings realize that we are endowed with prudence, diplomacy, alertness, nobility of thought and deed. We are definitely blessed. Yet, there is so much pain in the world, there is so much aggression, there is so much hatred. We can definitely obliterate all these aspects, we can negate, but it is important to have a control over our mind. The mind is the basic thing. Let us control our mind, let us remove ignorance, and we can again do wonders. So many leaders have struggled greatly and reached the top. Abraham Lincoln was very poor. He was impoverished. He lived in poverty, but then later he attained fame and success. Therefore, we have to remember that when we are pragmatic, rational, and in control of ourselves, we can conquer the world. Self-mastery is vital. It is imperative, and it is important for us to realize these things through experience. One should not put all eggs in one basket. This is commonly said. What does it mean? It means that the risk factor is increased when we put all our eggs in one basket. Imagine if we had a lot of money. We have to invest it properly. We have to learn to invest money in different pockets, in different areas. All investments together have to be diversified. Some amount maybe can be put in fixed deposits, some in mutual funds, and some even in shares. Let us remember that we have to diversify. Also, as far as emotions are concerned, we have to diversify emotions. We cannot just love one person in the family. We love our parents, we love our spouses, we love our children, we love our friends and acquaintances. Love also has to be divided and shared. For example, Avantika was the daughter of a very loving and caring family. She attended to all her duties within the family. She looked after her parents, she looked after her in-laws, she looked after her husband, she took care of her children. And she did each duty perfectly. Why? Because she knew how to divide her affections and how to be generous with her affections as well. So this is the art of life. We have to take risks, we have to be smart, we have to be alert, and we have to learn patience and diplomacy. Cut your coat according to your cloth is again an oft-quoted proverb. Well, we human beings land in a soup because we do not know how to manage money. There are very few who do. Sometimes we are careless with our finances. We overspend, we get carried away, and we feel we must have those possessions. Once we are wise and prudent, and we control our feelings, and we also learn that saving for a rainy day is important, then automatically we cut our coat according to our cloth. Firstly, we have to remember that each of us has to be within a certain budget. We cannot overspend and get tempted. We must be resolute and determined. For example, when there is a wedding in the family, we feel that we should keep up with the Joneses and keep on spending. We impress people, we want people's approval, and then we go overboard. Where does it lead to? It leads to misery. And that is how we learn through experience, through wisdom, through prudence, to control our expenses. No one is asking you to be miserly. No one is asking you to starve, but we have to be careful. For example, Meeta was given 50,000 rupees by her brother. Her brother told her that she should spend the money only on decoration. But what did she do? she spent on so many other useless things, and there was hardly any money left for decoration. So Mita was a bad manager. Therefore, when we do not control our finances, we eventually land up in utter misery. An idle mind is a devil's workshop. This is very true. Most of us have nothing to do. For example, what do? We end up imagining rubbish. There is so much nonsense in our head, and all those silly, ridiculous ideas play havoc with us. Therefore, we cannot be sensible. We cannot take a correct decision. It's important to be busy. It's important to be occupied. When we are occupied, we are not idle. Because if we are idle, however good we are, however confident we are, we have to realize that we are only human. The mind does wander. It vacillates. The mind is like the tide. The tide goes up and down. The tide wavers. The mind wavers. And as the mind wavers, it becomes genuinely a devil's workshop. We want to interfere with others. We want to talk ill of others. We want to build ridiculous castles in the air and not do anything. We are lazy, and that is the root of unhappiness. A busy person is a happy person. Let our minds not wander. Let us get busy. Busy with work, busy with a schedule, busy with a timetable. Because work alone will help us to regain our mental composure. As you sow, so you reap. This is an oft-quoted proverb as well. It refers to human actions. We human beings commit so many actions. We are action-oriented. But when we die, we leave behind memories of good and bad. We commit good actions, we commit bad actions. Many a time it is said that when we do evil, evil comes back to us. When we do good, good comes back to us as well. Well, here let's take an illustration of a story. Manish was a hard-working boy. He was young, ambitious, dynamic, and he worked his way slowly up to success. He amassed a lot of wealth, but slowly he became greedy. He became avaricious. He resorted to evil means and he collected money. He became inhuman. He became wicked. But sooner or later, it so happened that God punished him. When he was old, his own sons deserted him and left him penniless. This was the punishment he got. That is what we commonly believe. So good leads to good and bad leads to bad. However, ultimately we have to remember that always the triumph is one of good over evil. Hindu mythology shows us the triumph of good over evil. Every religion promotes that. Jesus the Messiah cleansed up the bad environment. So in every way, what we sow, we reap. Every cloud has a silver lining. What does this mean? This means that we have to learn to be positive and courageous amidst chaos, amidst turbulence, amidst crucial times. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. It's important to remember that life is full of ups and downs, and we have to cross the hurdles. No doubt there are obstacles to be surmounted. No doubt there are difficulties. Yet, what can we do? Irrespective of setbacks, we have to forge ahead. We must not get discouraged. When we are discouraged, we have to remember that there is always hope. There is a quote which says, when we are discouraged because we are in the valley, remember that every valley reaches up to the hill. Therefore, being positive is the only way. There is no other way. Rome was not built in a day. What does this mean? In order to achieve anything in life, we have to be diligent, hardworking, particular, focused, and then alone will success come. Success does not come overnight. It cannot. What is important is patience and courage. The spectacular city of Rome, the wonderful city with monumental architecture, this city was built with a great deal of skill and imagination. The architectural splendor of Rome is a well-known fact. However, there was a great deal of struggle. After centuries, after years of struggle, Rome was built. Therefore, in order to achieve something, in order to achieve a target, one has to be extraordinarily devoted to one's work, because work is worship. There is nothing like work. God has given us the power to work, the will to work. God has given us certain talents, and these talents must be focused and channelized properly. Children and fools tell the truth. What does this mean? Truth is a very important aspect of life, but most of us adults, we shun the truth. We do not dare to speak the truth because we will be disapproved. We are afraid to speak the truth because we will be caned. Truth is stranger than fiction, they say. Yes, truth is important. But side by side, the adult world of hypocrisy and artificiality does not permit us to speak the truth. When we speak the truth, we become unpopular. Nobody likes us. People hate our guts. And likewise, children are the only ones who are innocent and without guile. Since they are not malicious, they speak the truth. A human adult has negative sides. A human adult has positive and negative traits. Therefore, he does not want to accept the truth. But to speak the truth is important. Maybe a fool who is impulsive, maybe a fool who is spontaneous speaks the truth because he does not care for society. He does not care for the repercussions. A normal individual is conscious. He wants to be diplomatic and correct. People who are diplomatic and correct do not speak the truth, and that is the way of the world. The fewer the words, the better the prayer. What exactly is prayer? Prayer is an earnest supplication to God. It's a supplication for thanksgiving. It's a supplication for looking for more desires. It's a supplication to God, the Almighty, who rules the universe. We pray to God. We want to gain favors from Him. We are thankful to Him, and we gain solace when we are sad. Yet, there is no need to be opulent with words. God understands. The fewer the words, the better the prayer. Let us pray earnestly and meditate deeply with a calm mind, just for a brief while, but earnestly. That very earnestness will lead us to happiness, and God will surely grant us our prayers. First, we have to acknowledge the supremacy of the Creator. Call Him Allah, Hanuman, or Jesus. God is infinite, God is great, and God is the Creator. We have to bow our heads in surrender to God. And when we totally surrender, then we are respectful to God, and God understands us totally. With few words, we can send up our supplication, and it is indeed definite that He will answer our prayers. So far, we have discussed about English proverbs. Let us take a look into our native languages. Even in our native languages, there are abundant proverbs which can be preserved and have been preserved through posterity. They are deeply embedded in our religious consciousness, and we are proud of our Indian heritage, which is amazingly rich in content. It is imperative for the coming generations to keep in touch with their roots. Further values can be imbibed, and a beautiful moral tradition can be created. It is very important to understand the significance of proverbs, the significance of home truths, which elders have been continuously repeating to us through generations.